Welcome to Directly to You. I usually say welcome. Welcome to Directly to You, episode 6. I am joined by my longtime friend, Nia, video game her across all the interwebs and whatnot. We're going to talk about a lot of different stuff. But first, tell people what's your platform, what you do, what you got going on. Elevator pitch vibes.
Well, as he just mentioned, my name is Nia. I do go by the video game her on all of my socials. I don't really do a lot of content these days now that, I don't know, my life is a little bit busier these days. But once upon a time, I was a Nintendo YouTuber.
Yeah.
Well, I talked more specifically about Nintendo, but these days I kind of just stream the video games that I'm playing. I don't really do a whole lot of content, but if you follow me, you might get the occasional stream. So that's pretty much.
Yeah, you might get the stray. Like you just basically podcast by yourself when you do streams, and I'm like, yo, that's like I stream, but it's just I just can't. I always feel weird like talking and just talking.
Like you're talking to yourself.
Yeah. Like if I'm just talking, it's weird. And it's a personal thing. I'm the only one that has this hang up. My chat is like, yo, you could do yap streams, you yap all the time.
I definitely think that you could. Yeah.
I just feel like I'm bad at it. It's like in my head, I'm like, there's too much dead air, you're not structured enough.
Yeah.
Like so that's a me thing. I'll probably get over at some point in life, but who knows?
No.
I don't know.
I get it, because believe it or not, I'm not really a big yapper. Like I actually have to have something to talk about in order to kind of like freestyle and do what I do on my personal channel. Like I have to be passionate about it to get on the camera and just rant or rave if I like something, because I do that as well. But I think a lot of that kind of comes from the fact that you are like deeply invested to content, which is a good thing. I think that you're really, really good at it. As for me, I'm just an old lady yelling at clouds by this time, so it's kind of like I don't really care.
That's fair. I'd be on here angry.
I take the thinking out of it. I'm just like, all right, I'm just here to yap.
I think it's so funny whenever you do like the disclaimer of like you get belligerent, because I'd be on here mad. Like on Twitch specifically, I'd be mad. we go here on Twitch, but YouTube, like YouTube specific, I'm very buttoned up. I'm scripted. Like you might get a curse word, but it's gonna be censored with a video game noise, But yeah. Let's get into the reason why I wanted to have you on this episode in particular. We both collectively have been screaming at the Nintendo community because they're and I hate using this word because it's like they're a corporation, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. But like Nintendo fans are acting entitled in a very strange way. Because the Switch 2 is like everything that they said they want, and they're complaining about everything that they said they want.
Exactly.
And they're also being really inconsistent with like reality, where like there's very strange complaints of like this console has no games to play. It didn't launch with anything, as if any console in the history of ever had a lot of games when it launched. Like literally the last generation, all we have is Breath of the Wild. And then you have some ports here and there, and then you got the games that people want to hate, the 1-2 switches, the welcome tours and stuff like that, right? This is a standard launch cycle. This is GameCube, this is Nintendo Switch, this is PlayStation 4. But because it's Nintendo specifically, I feel like a lot of people are angry about it. And there's just a lot of things in that realm that I feel people are mad about.
Yeah, man. You already know how I feel. Okay, all right. Yes. You already know how I feel about it. I'm gonna be respectful to the platform. But here's one thing that I'll say. Like, I am an older person. Mm-hmm. I've been a part of gaming, not necessarily the gaming community. I feel like I kind of delved into that a little bit, like into my adulthood or whatever. Right. But I've been around long enough to kind of see like the ups and downs of Nintendo, like actually witness it like in real time and not just like reading it from like an article. And this is not like disrespect to like the younger people. Like I respect every age group, and whenever you come into gaming is, it's never a bad time to come into the hobby. But I come from an era where there was a point in time where Nintendo was a top dog.
Right.
Like, there was a time when you could get the best of both worlds from Nintendo, first party and third party. That kind of went by the wayside during the N64 era because of like cartridges. It's kind of similar to what's happening right now, but not.
Well, it's similar, but it's not. Because the thing about N64 is like there's always, like with every console ever, there's those pros and cons, right? Where a developer is like, okay, like this is the problem, but here's the benefit. It's like N64 had the problem, but it had none of the benefit. It was like, okay, we could pay more money to put our games on smaller storage medium for the console manufacturer that is selling less units. And then they're like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to go to the one that has less than 40 million users when we can go to the one that has 100 million and they're using CD-ROMs. It's like,
exactly.
Whereas now we have the cartridge thing, but it's like, this is going to be a market leader. And like, it's very clear that it will be.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what I was getting at. Like we were at a point where like storage was an issue. 64, it was an issue with the MIDI discs on GameCube, even though GameCube had adequate power to play a lot of the games that was coming out in those times. Right. And then of course that's when Nintendo decided to not, I don't know if you could call it a course correction or just a different direction with the
Wii.
Accepted and we already know how that came out. Mm-hmm. And then the Wii U was what it was, and like the Switch was what it was. And I love the Switch, and I had my issues with the Wii U, but I really appreciated what they were trying to do. Like I got the vision, Mm-hmm. But now we find ourselves in a space where like Nintendo is approaching parity. I always like to preface it with approaching. I feel like there's a difference between being on par and then approaching parity. I feel like we're at a place where now Nintendo is approaching parity, and we're able to get a lot of these third-party games that we weren't able to get on the Switch and other, console generations. And people are still complaining. Like you said, like we have everything that we've ever said that we wanted from Nintendo. Well, I don't know. Some of us, I don't know. There's caveats, but most of us just wanted a stronger Switch. A stronger Switch. A device to where it would be more future proof so that developers would be able to work on it for a longer amount of time or work with it for a longer amount of time. We've always been asking Nintendo to go and like go after like these third party publishers and ask them kind of like, what is it that you want us to do? Like, what do you need to see from us? And like this even started before this whole game key card situation. I remember a couple of years ago, and AJ, you be in these streets, what's going on.
Yes.
Correct me or, kind of jump in if anything that I'm saying is inaccurate. But there was a time a couple of years ago where there were like reports that Nintendo was showing off the Nintendo Switch 2 in back rooms to developers and kind of getting their
at like conventions and stuff like Gamescom.
Yeah, and they were like showing like Zelda in 4K and things like that, and just kind of getting the opinion of the other developers other than like their in-house people. And so we still see that happening right now, but I guess we're at a point where people are still not happy with what we're seeing because everybody's complaining about the game key cards. Me personally, I don't have a problem with the game key cards. Are they ideal? Would I rather have a physical card? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the game key cards is kind of like I don't want to say the best of both worlds. I just feel like it's a middle ground.
I think it's the best possible compromise. Because
thank you.
Because the thing is, it's like people don't understand the pros and cons that we were talking about. Like every manufacturer on every level, it doesn't matter if you're a $1 billion company or you're approaching 1 million. Every company has to like think about, okay, what are the pros and cons with the product that we want to make, and with something like Switch, you got to think about, okay, battery life. You got to think about, okay, how hot is this thing going to get? Okay, how heavy is it going to need to be? How big is it going to have to be? How thick is it going to have to be? And
Exactly.
all those things kind of coalesce to being like, well, it can't be discs because that would be a nightmare. And since it has to be flash storage, that's expensive just inherently.
And then you also have to consider that they are also thinking about the speed of the carts and everything, because now we're in a space to where Nintendo is trying to get those high fidelity games on their platform.
Right.
That requires a faster speed. So it's like you have to consider that and what that would look like in the form factor that the Switch 2 is. So it's like, I feel like a lot of people aren't really considering that, but like, I get it, but I don't get it. You know what I mean?
This is the thing.
Like,
I just say they're stupid. You say you're not considering it. I think they're dumb.
I guess.
I think they don't.
I didn't want to go that far.
I'll go that far for both of us. I think they're dumb and they don't actually understand how game development works. And this is something that like I touched on your stream, where it's like this thing where I'm conflicted because me as somebody that does like understand nuance and tries to exercise that in my day-to-day life, I appreciate a digital foundry. But I know the general person on the internet does not. And I know that they're like the way they use things like that, and this has gone all the way back, and we're talking about old head stuff. This goes all the way back to Sega. They ruined it. They ruined everything. Blast processing ruined gaming because
That's
like
crazy.
it gives you this arbitrary like thing to strive for as a consumer that, and it's very like specific to nerd culture, because like whether you know the thing or not, it feels cool to you to feel like you know the thing. So being let in on those terms of blast processing back then, but now it's frame pacing, and now it's ambient occlusion. And now it's
you don't even know what it means.
It's all this stuff. It's like screen tearing, like those kind of things. It's stuff that like in the moment 99.9% of people are not going to be able to identify it.
Not even,
but
exactly.
These talking points give people something to be mad about that didn't even register on their radar.
That's kind of how I feel about it too, because it's like when I'm not playing on a Nintendo platform, I'm normally playing on my PC. And so I kind of have like, I'm not super versed, like I don't really get too much into the technical side, but I do understand that like now we're in a space to where like we're in like this weird space where it's like, how do I say? We are in this weird space to where it's like we're approaching diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Now we're kind of in this weird space. It's like, okay, the graphics look good, but what about that lighting though? What about those physics? You know what I mean? Like, what about this? And so it's kind of like,
it's just like gamers don't, again, either they're stupid or they don't care, because I think what Switch 2 is capable of,
they don't really care,
is the Switch 2 is capable of reasonable visuals. It just is. Anything beyond Switch 2, 9 times out of 10 is excess.
It's just icing.
And it's the kind of thing that's like cratering the industry, but it's like the bare minimum expectation. It's like people are like, Switch 2's not powerful enough because it can't run that game that's going to lose $300 million because it can't sell enough to justify all that tech. It's the whole thing of like, people want every game to be Spider-Man on PS5, but even Spider-Man, one of the biggest media properties in the world, lost money on the high-powered market leader. Like these games, for them to have all the bells and whistles that 90% of gamers are not even actually going to be able to like recognize and tell the difference between, like that's what we're anchored to.
I will say this. I do think there is a place for high fidelity games. I do think that there is a place for high fidelity graphics where it becomes unsustainable, which I feel like is the biggest buzzword in gaming right now, unsustainable. But like one of the things that's kind of making it unsustainable is that gamers are expecting every single game to follow this particular standard. It's kind of like how back in the day when a blockbuster title was like your Indiana Jones, your Jurassic Park. And the reason why they would be as big as that they were is because movies like that were not coming out like every month.
Yeah.
So you would have like your Jurassic Park, you would have your Indiana Jones, but then in the middle you would have like your Home Alones and your other, just kind of like medium tier, regular movies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like with gaming, it used to also be like that with gaming. Like back in the day, I remember like we would get like our big tier, our high tier video games from whatever big company at the time. And then you would get your midway games, you would get your acclaim games, you would get your THQ games in the middle to kind of like cushion out your game library in between those big blockbuster games. But nowadays, it's like every game gotta be a hitter. Every game gotta be a AAA. And companies, like you said, are crumbling under this expectation, because I feel like a lot of it is a result of the expectation of the consumer.
Right. And that's what I mean when I say that the high fidelity games are a problem, because they become a floor. Like they should be the ceiling, but because of the way that they're marketed on the front end by the companies that enable these games, and I specifically mean the hardware manufacturers, whether that be in PC or in the console space, that's how they lead. They say buy this console because it can play games that look like this. So then every game that doesn't look like that isn't justifying your purchase. So the people
that's a good point.
Like come out the gate being like, well, I want to be a game that people feel justified in owning the platform that the game is on. So everybody is making those games. I think that the problem is like everything that's not a super high fidelity video game is almost like vilified for not being that. Or like on the like more like tame end, it like they're made fun of. It's like the whole thing of like with Nintendo, like people act like their games don't look like super impressive because they don't know how to make games that are impressive. But that stuff goes back to like Gunpei Yokoi. Like that was a very intentional thing. They're like,
and that's what I say too. Yeah, a lot of the reason why you don't see Nintendo do that is because, like you said, it's an intentional thing. Like it's a choice to not go that far because of costs and things like that. But I do think they're gonna cook a little bit this time.
Yeah,
I think that there will be a couple of games where we'll be like, okay, yeah.
I think there usually is, to be fair, but it's usually within their like. They're like, Breath of the Wild is an impressive game objectively. It doesn't matter what platform it's on. It is an impressive game.
I agree.
I think that those are, and I think I talked about this in the chat on one of your streams, where it's like, I think that is the place for high fidelity games. I think the only people that should be making games that are like, performance and visual showcases is the console manufacturers, because they're the only ones that can eat that cost. Or your Rockstar, either you're the company that's going to sell 30 plus million units of your video game easily. That's a low ball for something like GTA, or you can eat that cost because it justifies people buying your console. It's like, yeah, buy Metroid Prime 4 because it's going to make your Nintendo Switch look super impressive. Everybody else just feels like they need to be that guy though. It's like, well, if I can't be viewed as a rock star, then I might as well be nothing, and I can't really fault the developers fully for that, because that is how gamers treat them, because of the way that we talk about this. Well, not us, but because of how a lot of the space talks about performance. They talk about it where it's like yesterday's game that was like market leading and hyper impressive is now hideous. It's like, again, like a Nintendo Switch game, which like on a bad day is like an early 360 game by most reasonable developers, is like abhorrent. It's unplayable. I can't even look at this. But 5 years ago, it was the best thing you ever saw. It's like, I don't understand how the best thing you ever saw can go from being the best thing you ever saw to the worst thing, and you don't even want to look in its direction. Like
Because a lot of gamers are kind of prisoners to the moment, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like they're always looking forward to like the new shiny thing, kind of like the people who are always chasing like when there's gonna be a new Nintendo Direct. Don't get me wrong, I'm also looking forward to a new Nintendo Direct, but it's
Yeah.
like, sometimes I think that following the that I guess that dopamine rush, it kind of some people are held captive to experiencing something new and sparkly all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's I don't know.
That's just a bad new
It's just
like new sparkly like because
yeah.
I'm like that too. Like I'm always looking for, well, I'm not entirely like that. I'll like I've said a few times and people here know, I'll play Smash Brothers for forever. Like if there's
Yeah.
nothing else for me to play, I'm chilling. I'm still gonna play Smash, I'm gonna play my Mario Kart. I might turn
Yeah.
on Pokemon even though it makes me angry. Like I have no problem with playing a game that like naturally lasts a long time. But
Yeah.
I'm also always looking for that Donkey Kong Bonanza. I'm like, yo, I can't
Yeah.
wait until the next big thing to play. But the thing that keeps me on the hook and the carrot on the stick for me is like, oh my God, that looks like it's fun. Like that looks like
Yeah.
it's a fun thing to do. I don't care what it looks like because there's really two times where I'll acknowledge it. It'll be the first time I ever play the game. And then it'll be a random point in time 3 months after I have the game and I'm playing it. I'm like, man, this game really does look good. But it's not something that I'm thinking about every time I'm playing it.
Yeah. I don't know. I play different kinds of games, so I feel like my opinion on video games is kind of like niche. Like I play a lot of like obscure type games
Mm,
that people are not really playing all the time.
that's fair.
Um I don't know. I never have ever had a hard time finding anything to play in the meantime, in between time. Like right
Mm.
now, I'm playing Hello Kitty Adventure, Island Adventure until the new
I've been
Animal
seeing
Crossing comes out.
the posts. I don't know what to call Blue Sky
And
tweets.
yes, and then on PC, I've been playing this game called The Alters. It's an amazing game, and
Mm.
I don't really see a whole lot of people talking about that.
I don't even
So
know
I
what
don't
that
know.
is. I've seen the Hello Kitty one. I've
Yeah,
seen you post about the altars. I don't know what kind of game it is. What kind of game is
it's
it?
one of those. It's one of those kind of games that, like, I don't know. You gotta play to get. But I guess to simplify it, it's like mm, it's kind of like a survival game slash management sim.
Oh, I'm surprised my friend Wes
And it
isn't knocking down
yeah.
my door to make me play this game.
And
So
it has a very narrative, like it's also a very narrative
how many players is it?
driven game.
Is it a four
One,
player?
just a
Oh,
single
it's one
player
player.
game.
Oh, that's why he's not
No,
knocking my
actually, I don't know. I don't know. I
door.
don't know if it has multiplayer or not. I don't know. But it is a narrative driven game where it kind of goes into, how do I say it without spoiling it? I'll put it this way. If you like games that have some kind of like philosophical or
Like Stanley's Parable kind of vibe, or like Undertale, I guess.
uh,
They're philosophical.
I guess it would, if I had to compare it to any narrative, it would probably be something along the lines of like a Detroit Become Human type
Oh,
of
okay.
vibe, where
Hmm.
it's like what's humane, what's
Hmm.
inhumane, what do you do when you have to make impossible choices type, you know what I mean?
Right,
Type
right,
of
right, right,
vibe.
right, right.
So it's definitely not for the weak. You will be stressed out playing this game. But if you like a game that has different types of gameplay, I've kind of been in my cozy slash survival game era, so this is like right up my alley right now. But if you just want a game that you can kind of chill with, or you're just in the mood to play something with just a little bit deeper than like, a multiplayer game or some super action RPG or whatever, like I feel like it's definitely a good thing to experience. It's a good game to
That
experience.
feels like such a funny dichotomy where it's like I'm in my cozy era. I like playing this stressful game. Like
Right, because it's stressful in a different way. Like I don't know if you've ever if you've played Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Like
I've
that
been
game is
debating it
stressful.
for a
Woo,
video.
let me
Cause
tell you
I
something.
don't. The thing is, like, I don't like RPGs. I mean, I like RPG mechanics, but I don't
Okay,
like
I get it.
RPGs. I think
So
that
you didn't play Metaphor. You didn't
no,
play.
absolutely not.
Okay.
RP in the chat. He goes up for Metaphor.
Uh,
Uh,
listen, but like
mm,
it's like Metaphor is the kind of game that's like it's stressful in a way that you have to make sure that you're timing your parries and all that correctly, or
yeah.
you will get bodied.
So that's the
It's one
thing.
of those kind of games like
Yeah.
you should expect going into the game getting bodied at least once or twice before you get the rhythm of the boss.
I need that.
Whereas,
I need that in games.
yeah,
That's part of why I don't
yeah.
like RPGs. I need it.
Oh
Because
well,
I'll get
you
bored
would love this
otherwise.
one.
I
You would
love
love this.
I love me a parry
Yes,
system. I be
you would
parrying.
love this. You would love this, and I think you would also love Metaphor Refantasio. But like the altars is stressful in a sense where it's like you have to make these decisions or else you are gonna die.
Oh, it's okay.
So it's
that.
like it's like
It's
you got to make this
like real
decision by
life
this
stress.
particular. Yeah, it's like, and then you have to manage your alters, and then sometimes your alters get into it with you, or they get into it with each other. You got to try to keep everybody happy and fed so that y'all can get up out this planet, and it's a lot going on in that sense.
I feel that. We got way off the rails, but we kind of
I
already
know.
touched on what this first article was from The Verge
So
that
sorry.
says you're good. It's my fault. Nintendo wants to keep traditional approach to development as costs skyrocket, and I think that this is one of those things that like I feel I've been screaming from the rooftops for years and years, where it's like I think that Nintendo has it figured out where it's like what you should be doing as a game developer. Like they know how to hit that happy medium because everything else is like a flash in the pan. It's like it's super exciting now. You know, it's what people are saying about Game Pass right now, where it's like it sounds cool and it sounds fun, but how's this going to last 10 years from now? You know?
Right.
So it feels like them saying that is kind of them just being like, you know, business as usual. They're like, yeah, we had this 4K thing, it could do that, but like we're probably still gonna, you know, make the games that we make. Like they're going to be more impressive comparatively, you know, when you compare them to other Nintendo games from the past.
Right.
But they're not going to be like the kind of things that even like some of the other developers, you know, the CD Projekt Reds, on like the like again on a Digital Foundry kind of analysis level. It's not going, you know, they're not going to have anti-aliasing. They're still going to forgo stuff like that. But it will be like, how did they do this? You know, it'll be like the Breath of the Wild moments of like, people have more like visually impressive games on the platform. You know, not many people say the best looking game on Nintendo, even Nintendo Switch 2 right now or whatever, is a Nintendo game. But it's like the most overall impressive game, you know, like as impressive mechanics and game design. It's not just about the visuals. And that's how I feel like like that's what they're kind of saying with this. In terms
I
of
don't know.
like
I feel
staying
like they
traditional.
already kind of do that. Like,
Yeah.
'cause when like they didn't really do it so much during the Switch era, but like I know like during like the like Wii U 3DS era, they would make smaller games that were like eShop exclusives. I was actually talking to somebody about this. Shout outs to Keith. Keith Norris. We were talking about this the other day. He was talking about, well, we were both talking about how because we were talking about this very same article. We're like, what do you think they mean by that? And I was like, hopefully that means we get a Pushmo. I love Pushmo.
That's fine.
But like they would do like eShop exclusives like Sakura Samurai and Dylan's Rolling Western and I can't think of some others, but
Rusty's
they would
Real
do, like,
Deal baseball, I think
yeah,
the shop.
yeah. Like yes, like they would do like stuff like that. And I think Still Diver too. Was it Still Diver
Yeah.
Nintendo?
Yeah, yeah.
Like they would do like kind of like those
but
like
people be mad about that because that was a full price game.
yeah.
People be mad about that one.
I mean, but like I think that's what they mean when
Yeah,
they say
it's
that they're
absolutely
gonna
what they mean,
focus
yeah.
on games with a what was it, like a shorter development cycle, things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And then you'll have to wait a little bit longer for like your Codename Steam. But Codename Steam was not an eShop exclusive. That actually came out on
Well, Still Diver wasn't either.
physical.
That came out
Still Diver
physically
did
too.
too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, they did. That came out like digital. I mean physical too. You're right.
Yeah.
But either way, Nintendo still made those games, and
Yeah.
they were kind of supposed to be like, you know, like your in between games for like your in between like your bigger releases during that time. So
Nintendo,
I don't know.
I feel like Nintendo just tries to operate like they're like Amazon almost. Not and I
Yeah.
mean like in the most like ethical way possible comparatively. But they're like, oh, okay, what is missing? You know, like what's missing on our platform or what's popular
Mhm.
here that we can also help fill that niche. You know, they're like, okay, we got the top end. We have the like the Marios and the Zeldas.
But I
But
guess at one point, Fire Emblem was considered double A.
yeah, and then it blew up. It was like,
Yeah.
all right, we gotta do bigger than that. And
And
yeah,
then
that was
before
like a
Kirby
big
and the
hope for
Forgotten
me.
Land, like your Kirby's would be like your
Hmm.
double A. Your Yoshi games would be your double A.
And that's the thing about Kirby too. It's like Kirby's like an example of that within Nintendo. It's like an insular example because you'll have Kirby in the Forgotten Land, and they'll be like Kirby the Fighters and Kirby Dream Buffet, and you know they
Yeah,
still want to
yeah.
do the little small like might have cost them like $2 million to make. It took 6 months, you know,
Hmm.
while they're giving you the bigger thing, and Mario to a degree too, but Mario is like a higher budget example of that, where it's like, okay, we'll give you the big budget, the Mario Odyssey, and then we'll give you the like double A like Mario Wonder, New Super Mario Bros, and then we'll give you the even lower than that, you know, like the sports titles. So
Or
yeah,
Mario versus Donkey Kong.
yeah, and that's like trying to be indie kind of thing. I feel like,
Right.
which I wonder if they're going to do more of that. Like, I don't know. I don't know if we know who's working on Dragon Drive, but I think that's an EPD thing.
I
I'd
have no
assume
idea.
that's an EPD
I
thing,
have
but
no
something that
idea.
they did a lot in the Switch era is they would like recruit indies essentially, where it's like snipper clips
Mercury Steam.
and
Mercury Steam made
yeah,
Metroid.
Mercury
They
Stream.
made it on the
Yeah.
3DS too.
That's a little different from what I'm thinking. Mercury Steam is more akin to like Grezzo, like how Grezzo worked on the Zelda remakes, and then they recruited them to make Echoes of Wisdom. But like this thing, like them recruiting indies in the Switch era, like they would basically be pitched games by indie devs, and then Nintendo would like essentially do a distribution deal to
Give
compare
me
it
an
to.
example, because I can't think of any of
So
the
like
off
Snipper
the top
Clips is
of
an
my
example
head.
of it. The
Right, right,
Stretchers,
right, right.
I think it's
Right, right,
Great
right, right.
Job. Those games, like there's a decent amount of those where it's just like these smaller experiences made by a random indie dev that you never heard before, but Nintendo will publish it.
Okay, that
Um,
makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
and that's why I'm like, is that what Dragon Drive is? Because it is a $20 game. It does seem like it's a lot more like insular. It's not trying to be everything. It's not trying to be a $60 game, and they're just cool with that. Whereas I feel
Hmm.
like something like Arms, for example, which was a triple, like not maybe not
We're
a triple
trying
A
to go for
game,
that.
but like
Yeah.
it was made by a triple. It was made by the Mario Kart team. You know, like it's
Right.
that kind of thing. It's like one of their big guys that makes them a lot of money that just wants to do something fun and cool. This is like a team that just doesn't have a lot of money, but they have a cool idea and they want to be able to have a shot at a bigger audience sort of situation.
Hmm.
So I wonder if they're going to do more of that. And also like I feel like they slowed down on the and you tweeted about this. And we had an exchange about this too with Dragon Drive, where you were like you brought up Arms and Splatoon as like them doing like bigger like new IP, and then they have this, which is not that, I wonder if
Not
they're going to do
given.
more of it.
Sorry. It's not given that.
It's not. It's not. Yeah, it's not. But again, like to be fair, I don't think it's trying to.
Right.
I think that the fact that it's $20 that says to me it's trying to be Snipper Clips. It's not trying to be Arms. Even it's like
Right.
because
Which
Arms
is
even
unfortunate.
was $60.
I wish they would have at least gave us, the little robot dude with kitty ears or something. Like, give us some
I mean, you might still get that. You might still get it. You might get the Nintendo skins and the game's not out yet. We don't know. I think so. The thing, like, Dragon Drive is not something I'm personally excited for myself, but it's like
Yeah.
it's the genre of game that I know my friends are hyped for. Like, I streamed
Yeah.
the announcement direct, and like my
Yeah.
friends, they play games and stuff. Like a lot of
Yeah,
them
kind of like
even
a
play.
Rocket League type vibe.
Yeah, it's like, yo, I love basketball. I want to play a basketball game on my Nintendo Switch too.
Yeah.
And
I
there
think
it is.
for me, like my biggest disappointment is not really like the type of game it is. I actually think the concept is really cool. I feel
It
like
just doesn't have enough personality for you.
it just doesn't have that Nintendo charm. That's it. That's
Yeah.
the only thing. You know, it's like, this is like, ooh, okay. I had a lot of fun during 7th generation, but remember how like in 7th gen, like games just kind of started blending together. They all had the same brown yellow filter.
Yeah.
They all had the same looking dude.
Yep.
Like to me, it's kind of giving me everywhere. Like that. Like we are getting that generic, okay, this is just a thing on a screen. I'm just
That's
I
fair.
like Nintendo for the cuteness and the charm. It's like, where is that? It's not giving me that.
I don't know. I think it's a little different for me, or the way that I'm looking at it, because it's like something, and maybe that's maybe that's like what you're getting at, but it's something that I don't see Nintendo do, you know? So it's like, oh, this is interesting. Like this is like Nintendo's take on like what Rocket League is. What's that? You know, like what happens there? And I'm interested to see if there's like some kind of hidden nugget there, because I think a lot of times, and this is like something that like this is like a not pie in the sky video, because it's not something that like I can't make, but it's something that I can't make because there's too many other things to make, you know. But I want to make a video about Nintendo's approach to genre, where it's like for the longest time they wouldn't touch a shooter with a 10-foot pole, but then we got Splatoon, you know. And that's why it's because when they do a genre, it's like they want to like reverse engineer it and come out on the other side with something that feels like they made it. It's less like this is a shooting game and like this is a Nintendo game. It's like how like Smash Brothers is a fighting game, but nobody really calls it that, you know? So it's like it's a platform fighter, and before everybody else copied that, it was just like it's a Smash, like, you know, like that kind of thing. They do that with everything. Every game that like, even if it can be directly tied to a different genre, it's like people don't immediately think of it like that. Like I don't really hear people talk about Splatoon specifically and say it's a third-person shooter, you know?
Right. I feel like for me, I know that there's like a thirst for Nintendo to do more multiplayer things. I think that Dragon Drive was probably made to kind of like cater to that. But I don't know. This is not my thing. But I get everything that you're saying.
That's fair. On the topic of multiplayer things, real quick, because I do want to talk about this, and I feel like I missed it. You play any Marvel Rivals? Or are you off that? You're not down with the Marvel Rivals?
Here's my thing. I would probably play a lot more multiplayer games if all of my friends weren't old like me with families and careers. That kind of kills a lot of multiplayer games for me, because like, I mean, I have a career, but of course I'm a teacher, so I have a lot more free time than a lot of my friends who obviously don't get summers off. So it's really hard for me to be like, oh, because I want to, because there's a lot of games that I probably would play if I had, more people to play with. Yes, because I used to play multiplayer games all the time back when I was younger.
I have a problem that's like similar to that, but it's like a lot of my friends are content creators. So it's like if it doesn't fall into the video that they're trying to make or the streams that they want to do, then the game won't get played. But the thing is, there's like every once in a while, the everything will align, and like we'll have either it's like everybody will be playing it, or we have a big enough group where like we can at least like have controlling vote in the lobbies, you know. And that's what Marvel Rivals is, where it's like all my friends that I frequently play games with are at least down to play Marvel. If we're sitting around and we're like, yo, what are we doing? Everybody can agree on Marvel Rivals. Whereas maybe I'll say like, oh, let's play Smash Brothers. And then one of my friends is like, yeah, I'm down to play Smash Brothers. Because that's a problem that I have also with like my quote unquote normie friends. Where it's like, yo, I'm trying to play Smash. And then they're like, I don't want to play Smash. You're too sweaty. And I'm like, but I'm not. I'm just better than you.
You are.
No, AJ, but I'm not. That's the thing.
You are, though.
So here's what I'm saying. When I play with people that are not good TM at the video game, I sandbag crazy. I'm playing random. I'm playing whatever. I'm letting them pick my character. I'm doing one life. I'm letting them all fight me at once. You know, like I'm not like trying to win. You know, I just want to play a game because I think it's fun. When I'm playing
That's
against
hilarious.
somebody that's not great at the game, that's all I want. Like I literally, there's a clip, and I wanted to like edit it into something, but the moment passed. But Bob from the Wolf Den and Wood from Beat 'em Ups,
Yeah.
they were playing Smash. And then I came into their stream, and Bob immediately was like, "Get out!" And I was like, "What? I just want to play games with my friends." I'm like,
Absolutely not.
it's crazy.
Absolutely not. I
'cause
would never play a multiplayer game with you ever.
The only people that feel like it's so crazy because like people feel like I'm the one that's being competitive. I don't care if I win or lose. If I get destroyed by somebody that like quote unquote is supposed to lose to me, I don't care. It's a game. It's not that deep. And I'm usually like, if I'm playing again, when I say I sandbag, I'm not, and it's not even necessarily like a demeaning kind of thing. Usually I'm still getting a lot out of the experience because I'll do very like specific things. It's like, oh, okay, I want to work on this aspect of the game. And I'll only do one very specific, I'll like just use dash attack because I want to learn better use cases for it. It gives you like an easy obstacle to clear. It's like a boss fight, but it also gives me a better understanding of the game without having to like win TM, you know? And I think I'm also,
and that's what makes you sweaty. You actually study the game. Meanwhile, I'm over here button mashing.
Yeah, but that's how you get there. You think I started playing Smash understanding the game? That's not how that works. I started playing the game button mashing too. But then I was like, oh, I like this game a lot. And then I saw somebody that's really good at the game. And I'm like, yo, I want to learn how that happens. And then
listen, I stay out those Smash streets, okay? I don't play Splatoon anymore.
Same. But that's the other part of it. It's like I'm not going up for the Smash community. I'd be screaming about them too. This is another thing that I scream from the rooftops for years. I don't want to go deep into it. I don't know if you heard about the Mango and Ludwig situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, like those kind of things when like when Smash is in the news for the players and stuff like that, that's the kind of thing that I'm like,
so you be happy to see their downfall.
Yes,
that's crazy.
yes. Because and it's not about that, but it's about the thing where it's like I'll be in a room and it'll be like this kind of thing happening, and I'll be the one be like, yo, this is nuts. And then they'll be like, nah, you just don't get it. You know, it's locker room talk adjacent kind of excuses, you know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yo, nah, like that's nuts. You're not supposed to do this because X, Y, and Z. It's like with the Ludwig thing, like the reason why that went crazy is not because they did anything particularly different that they normally would do. The thing that was different is there were more women in the room. So it was able to escape that bubble. Whereas before it would just be brushed under the rug. That's Mango. That's Ludwig. That's kind of where I occupy just in general, where it's like I have the interest in like wanting to be good at the game, but I don't adopt the way that they act and carry on. I'm like attempting to be the voice of reason, but they just don't listen to me. They're like, yeah, whatever, black guy.
I've definitely heard some stories about the Smash community.
Yeah, and all of them are probably correct. All of them are probably correct. You will never catch me defending them. I just think the game's fun. But yeah, no, Marvel Rivals. I've been telling my friends that I don't want to play the game because I have Nintendo Switch 2 now, and I don't want to switch out my HDMI. It's that simple. It's like, and also mouse mode. I want to play it on mouse mode. And the developers,
I do think we're gonna be getting a lot more of those type of games on Switch.
Yeah. So the developers, they're saying they want to make it. It's just Nintendo doesn't they don't have a dev kit.
That's what I heard. I heard that, they didn't really give out a whole bunch of dev kits in the beginning, but once people start getting dev kits, we're going to hear a lot about, oh, so-and-so is coming, or such and such is being ported, or, oh, look, the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, blah, blah, blah.
So do you have any of those games that you're like, oh, man, I can't, because I know you said you got more of an eclectic range of games. Is there anything that you're like, I need this on my Switch 2 specifically, or are you just cool playing it where you play it?
I would like to see the altars on Switch 2.
Is that like, what's the control situation for that? Because I know there's some like PC games that people are like, this wouldn't even work. You need a keyboard. You can play
the whole thing with a controller.
Oh, nice.
You can play either way, but it's there's a lot of games at PC that are also on consoles, which is way more common nowadays that
Yeah.
you'll see it on across platforms. So it was made to be played with a controller as well as keyboard and mouse. I would also like to see, of course, Expedition. I would love for that to. I would double dip on that game. I would double dip on Metaphor, ReFantazio. But like the kind of games that I like to play, it's a guarantee that they're probably gonna come because I play a
they're
lot
gonna
of
happen
Eastern
anyway.
games.
Okay, yeah.
Huh?
Oh yeah, I was just agreeing. I was saying it's probably gonna come anyway. It's not like a pie in the sky thing for you.
Right. Like I play a lot of Eastern games, so there's a high possibility that a lot of the RPGs and things that I like to play will come. As far as multiplayer is concerned, like I kind of told you about my multiplayer dilemma, but listen, all I need, if I could get Halo on Switch, that's all I need. If I could just play SWAT.
Oh, you're gonna dive back into Halo?
Listen, I'm an old lady, but I can retrain my muscles now. I can do it. You just gotta bring it.
I haven't played Halo actively since like what? I don't know which one came out first.
It's been
Reach or
about a decade.
ODST, whichever one came first.
It's been about a decade for me, but I would get back in there. And I know I could play it right now on my PC, but it's just like I talked about this a little bit on my last stream too, because one of my viewers was like, "Why would you, rebuy a game that you've already bought for the Switch 2 when you already own it? You could play it right now." And for me, I am getting older. Like I know I sound like I'm 68 years old. I promise
You're
I'm
not that old. You're really not. I always thought that was funny. Because I think it was like me and Logan. I don't even know what the context was, but we were talking about something, and then or maybe it was like his video, and he was like, "Oh, when I was a kid and I was playing Wii," and you were like, "A kid?" And I was like,
"No, that's crazy." I'm sorry, that's crazy. I was not a grown.
I was in like 8th grade when Wii came out.
I was a woman when a Wii came out. But anyway, I'm not that.
Actually,
old.
No, I was in like 6th or 7th grade when Wii came out. Yeah, no.
Gotcha. Yeah. See, I'm not that old. I do it for a comedic effect, but I'm approaching my 40s and like I just don't have the
I'm
same
31.
reflexes.
Not that far.
Yeah, but it's a difference, AJ.
It's different, but it's not that different. It's not that different.
It's different. Like this is what I knew. It was different when Metroid Dread came out. I was like, yeah, come on, it's gonna be a cakewalk. And when I tell you some of those bosses, I was like, I done fought this boss like 20 times. Like, what is happening? It's like my reflexes ain't what they used to be. Like, I used to play like Twitch shooters. Like, I can't do it but I'm pretty sure that if I sat down and I retrained my brain, I could do these things. But it's like, it's a lot more difficult than it used to be. But anyway,
I feel like I got like the older I get, the better I get at stuff like that. Yeah. And it's because I train it, because again, like I was saying, like me playing Smash Brothers, I didn't like jump onto Smash 64 and I'm like, I'm trying to be the best player ever. I was button mashing with Fox McCloud and just spamming Thunder like the rest of us, but I got to like, it took me until Ultimate really to like specifically see the MKLeos and like the like the big Super Smash Bros players and them using characters that I care about and it looks cool. So I'm like, that looks sick. I want to learn how to do that. And me feeling like that now, like as I get older, is what motivates me to learn how to do it, and that is what is getting me there. It's like I'm not losing anything because I'm not. That's not the starting point I'm coming from. It's not like I'm starting at like, oh, I'm a parry master and I'm like atrophying. It's like I came in with the super casual, just mashing the C stick, and then I just as the type of person I am competitive by nature in the sense that like I want to win, but I'm not competitive in the sense that I'm gonna look up frame data. To this day, if you quiz me on frame data in Ultimate, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you any character's frame data. But I'm gonna feel it out. I'm like, I know this move is faster than this move because I play this game. Like it's that kind of thing.
I don't know. I'm calling Cap, but you know what? I'll take your word for it, AJ. It's okay.
I'm just saying. I just don't. That's just how it is.
But here's the thing about multiplayer games, though. I think that because because my life is different now,
Mhm.
and especially during the school year, like sometimes during the school year, I just don't get to game because I'm busy, doing school events and I'm writing
Yeah.
lesson plans and I'm just doing a lot of things with school. So I think that if a lot more multiplayer games came to the Switch 2, I probably would be able to play more multiplayer
It would be
games
easier.
because yes, I could just I could be like doing school stuff all day and then like just be in the bed playing my Switch,
Yeah, exactly.
So
I was
that's
gonna
kind of
say,
what I'm thinking.
I think that that's another part of it too for me. Is Switch just makes it easier for me to justify it in my brain, even if it's not actually true. Like
Right,
Smash
because
Brothers, it feels like I can justify it as working. It's like, all
right,
right,
and
well,
that's why
like
I was. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, like even if my content is not mostly me talking about Smash Brothers, it helps me being a good at it. It's like
Hmm.
a badge of approval where they come to my stream and they know like, oh, this guy is really good at this Nintendo game and this Nintendo game. I could be terrible at everything else, but if I can pull out and be like, yo, I'm the best at this game, I'm competitive with people that play this game for a living. Like
That's
that
hilarious.
adds authority to other things that I do.
Right, right. I agree with that. I just feel like for me, it's one of those kind of things where it's like my life is busier.
Yeah.
I don't really have the time to quote unquote get good, as the
Right.
people say. So for me, I probably would play more multiplayer games
If that
um
barrier wasn't there.
right. And like how you were saying about how you could justify it in your brain to play it on the Switch too because of the form factor and it just making it more, making it easier for you to actually like play some games. That's
Mhm.
kind of how I feel. And like when I was talking to my user about it, they were like, why would you double dip on this game? Why would you buy it again when you already have it here and here and here? And it's for me, it's like you said, it's the form factor, it's the ease of use. I could take my Switch out of the dock in my game room where like my computer set up and everything is, and then take it to the dock in my living room or take it to my bedroom, and I could have had like the longest day ever and still be able to continue on with my gaming.
You got
So
two Switch 2 docks?
Listen, I'm
No,
gonna just tell you this.
You rich. And
I'm not rich. Hey,
the
I'm
Switch
not
2
rich,
caused the
but
recession single-handedly. You got to be a multi-millionaire to afford a Nintendo Switch 2. That's
I'm not
crazy.
rich, but I will tell you this. I went through something this year. I don't want to talk about it because it's something that happened in my family, but
Mm.
it caused me to get a little bit of extra funds. So
Oh, I'm
that was
sorry.
like a terrible thing, but then I actually got something out of it.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you about it
Yeah.
off
Okay.
live, AJ.
Okay.
But that's also a lot of reason why I kind of haven't been around a whole lot
Mhm.
lately. We'll talk about it offline.
Okay.
But I definitely can see the value in double dipping because I know that was kind of like your point. Like if these games came over to the Switch too,
I
or
bought
maybe I won't be on the point.
Yeah, I mean that is my point. um
Yeah.
my example of that is Dragon Ball Kakarot. I bought that game 3 or 4 times because
Oh yeah.
I bought it on PlayStation 4.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I just every generation I get everything. So I have the choice, and then I get to the point with the other two, the non-Nintendo, like since becoming a Nintendo centric content creator,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just buy games like to justify having them, because
Right.
like Sony doesn't release enough exclusives for me to be able to be like, oh, well, I'm playing this game, blah blah. And Xbox is
Oh
just
yeah.
already my default usually because the Xbox Live is just better. So I bought it on PlayStation because I'm like, well, I don't play this. So then I bought it there. And then when the Xbox Series and the PlayStation 5 came out, I bought it on that because it was getting a 4K 60 update or whatever. And then I literally never touched it on Xbox. And I was like, well, maybe I'll play it on Switch. So then I bought it on Switch. I still haven't done that yet, and I'm kind of in this like loop again where I'm playing chicken. I want them to like do the 4K whatever frame rate they want to do on Switch
Mm-hmm.
2, so I could play it on there like that. But I don't know. But that's where like I'll buy a game real fast on Switch because even if I don't play it all the way through, I can at least be like, all right, let me test the waters and see if I want to. Like I streamed it when I got it on Switch. When I got it on the original Switch, I streamed it and I was like, all right, that's the test. If the audience is feeling it and I'm having fun, I'm gonna finish the game. But if not, I'm probably not going to do it.
That's how I feel about Dragon Quest 11.
That was another. So when you mentioned Claire Obscure, there's this video on my head that I've been wanting to make about like turn-based RPGs, gone action RPG, that kind of like what's the word, like pipeline. And it
like
started
how they're adding
with
more like action game elements.
Yeah, action game elements, or just like with Final Fantasy VII. I think that's probably going to be what I actually make the video about because we know that's coming to Switch 2. Final Fantasy VII Remake, I want to make that video where it's like, see, this hyper successful, used to be turn-based RPG made the jump to action and it's more popular now with Pokemon because a lot of people with Pokemon, for sure. Sales-wise, for sure.
I don't think that. Listen, okay, you're about to take like the turn-based fan in me right now is screaming because how dare you?
That's fair.
How dare you?
I'm just saying. So like you said about the like hyper realistic games and all that kind of stuff. I think there's a place for turn-based. I just don't think the biggest media franchise in the world is that place. I think that Pokemon is successful in spite of that. And the reason why they have that moniker is at odds with how the gaming community talks about Pokemon. Because they talk about Pokemon as if the games are responsible for that, but it's not. Like, it's spiritually responsible for it because Pikachu came from the video game. But what's making them their money is people buying Pikachu plushies, you know? It's that. It's like Pokemon games are like 20% of their revenue.
Brand is almost bigger than the actual game itself. Like the brand itself.
That's the thing. It is. It just is bigger. The game. So the game. They released like the revenue breakdown for like the money that they made in their entire life as a corporation. It's like 20% is the video games, and then the card game is almost part and parcel with the video games, and then merchandise is like the biggest chunk, and then everything else is like 10, you know, that sort of thing. So it's like all this stuff is bigger because people love the world. And I think if the games did a better job at illustrating the world, the games would grow because of it. I think that like the games succeed because the brand is successful and people, you know, they're like me. It's like I'm gonna play the games because I like the world. I don't like the game. Like I don't play any of the Pokemon clones or anything like that. Because the thing that I like about Pokemon is Pokemon, and they can't replicate that. The only thing that they replicate is the thing I don't like about Pokemon. So it's like it just feels like oops all berries kind of things if I hate the berry.
Okay. What?
That's what it is. It just
you just blew my mind. Like you and my homegirl Zanita D. Like y'all are the biggest Pokemon fans I know.
Yeah.
And I don't hate Pokemon. You know, she actually gifted me Pokemon Shield, I think. Yeah. And I enjoyed it, you know? But
you know,
I know
it's fine.
If you follow me, you know that I low key be shading.
Yeah, that's fair. So do I. That's the thing. It makes me so. It like confuses me profoundly when people call me like a Nintendo fanboy or whatever. Because like I be getting at them more than anybody. I feel like I don't really make a video where I'm just like the whole time being like, this is the best company ever and blah blah blah. Like the video you watched, half of the video that you comment on recently is me being like, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you don't do that. Yeah.
Half of the video is me being like, this is bad because of this. And it's not even flowery language. It's not like, I would think that this could be bad. I think this sucks. I think this is terrible. And here's why, you know? I'm fair. I feel. I think that I give them their flowers where they deserve it. But I also, I'm honest when I don't like something. Like another example, like N64, I'm very loud, very, very loud about how I think that generation was a paid alpha test. It's just literally like, hey, give us money to figure out how to make 3D video games. Like that's what that generation is. And the same way that the NES
that
was
is blasphemous.
It just is.
That was blasphemous.
It just is what it is, man.
You said the Wii was your childhood, the N64 was my childhood. How dare you?
That's the disconnect. I think that's the disconnect between me and most people on the planet, is because I'm nostalgic for certain things, but I'm nostalgic about. I'm very like my nostalgia. It's like targeted to what it actually is about. I don't like mix those. I don't cross those streams. It's not like, man, I think Pokemon Yellow is a really great game because it like taught me how to read, and it was like the first game that I beat. You know, like that. I think that game sucks. I think that game is objectively terrible. I love it because of all of those things, but the game that it is, you know, like if I were to hand it to somebody that doesn't have any of those memories attached and stuff like that, they would not have a good time with it. If I got to give you this like backstory to be like, this game is good because how I experienced it very specifically, it's probably not that great of a game, you know?
Shout out to Pokemon for teaching you how to read. I think that's dope.
But yeah, I mean, that's just what it is. And that I think that people are just not good about calling a thing a thing. I think that you can love something and still acknowledge what is bad about the thing that you love. That's something I'm huge on.
I think that I can too, because I have a very unpopular opinion about a lot of those rare games that came out on the 64 that people don't want to hear.
What's that?
No, it's cool. I'm good. It's all right. It's fine.
Why not? Just do it.
Here's what I'll say.
Mm-hmm. I'll go band for band. I'll give you an opinion people are going to get mad at me about.
The reason why a lot of people, you know, I don't want to jump out the window and say that those games were bad, because I did enjoy some rare games back in those times.
Which one?
I think a lot of the reason why.
Put names.
I'll put a name on
the literal bullet. I think GoldenEye is a terrible game.
Oh,
I think.
See, I can't.
I think GoldenEye aged terribly. I think
I'll give you that. I
think even the fun that can be had with the game now is because the game's bad. Like it's like it's like the kind of thing that's like yeah, let's do like a drinking game with like, because this game already feels terrible. You know, it's novel that the game controls bad. And that's the whole generation, to be fair. I mean, there's some 2D games. Paper Mario is still Paper Mario.
I love Paper Mario.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's one of the exceptions. It's like the games that didn't need to rely on the fact that it's a 3D game that you control a character in a 3-dimensional space are great. Mm-hmm. But every game that you had to do that with, terrible. My hot take, one of my first hot takes in a video that blew up, I did a video with Bob and we were talking about Ocarina of Time. And his friend hates me to this day because of this take.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
I just said Ocarina of Time is a terrible game. And I think that I specifically gave the I don't know if I gave this take yet. I don't think this take was formulated yet. But I maintain, and I don't know yet, I still got to confirm, I got to finish playing it through. I maintain that the only good 3D Zelda games are Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and the one that's an asterisk is Wind Waker. I don't know, I still got to play through it again to confirm, but the signs aren't great, even on that game.
I understand why you say that, but I've always said that Ocarina of Time is just a Link to the Past in 3D.
Yeah.
And people will be like, "Oh, you're minimizing it."
That's kind of the bad thing about it, because it's like, you know what? And Zelda is like such a perfect analog to how I feel about Pokemon, because like Link to the Past is them perfecting what they did before. You know, it's like it's the first Zelda game, but like with all the understanding of how to make a game like that. It has all the bells and whistles, and it's prettier and all that kind of stuff. Ocarina of Time is them hitting the reset button and saying, okay, let's figure it out again, you know?
But in 3D.
Exactly. That's where Pokemon's at. Where it's like Pokemon went from Gen 1 in 1996, 98 in America, all the way to like 2010, 2011 with Gen 5, that's them perfecting it. That's them being like, yo, we're flexing. We understand pixel animation so well that we're going to innovate in this space. We're doing this like Pokeball animation where the guy puts his hand behind his back and throws it in this way. It's like, what? That's 2D? That's crazy. And then they go to 3D and it's like, there, you know, it's like the 20th Century Fox. You ever see that video, the guy playing it on the recorder, and it's like this scuffed version of the chime from that. That's what it feels like. It's like the scuffed version of the thing that they've been doing, and it's because they're not great developers. They just had to like sharpen their sword for so long that eventually they got good at pixel animation, and I think they're going to get there eventually with 3D. But it took them freaking 25 years to get there.
I hope so. The Pokemon community deserves better.
I think the Pokemon community deserves better than the Pokemon community. I'd be fighting with them too, and it makes me. They get on my nerves because like they'll say something that and it'll be like before Switch happened, right? There's certain things that I'll be like, this needs to change in Pokemon. Like my first like year or two on YouTube, I'm like, this is, you know, maybe we don't need random encounters. And they tried to like burn down my house. You know, they're like, how dare you? It is impossible to play Pokemon without random encounters. How can you shiny hunt? It'll ruin the game. 10 years later, where are we at? No more random encounters. People like shiny hunting more than ever. It's like a whole industry now. You know, it's so much cooler to be able to like walk in the video game and see from a distance. Is that a shot? That's a shot. Oh my God, that's a shot. And then you run up into, you have multiple moments of like, that's crazy. Whereas before you have that one moment. It's what you're walking in the grass. It's in your face. It's there. But you have multiple moments of anticipation when you can physically see it in the world. It's like, oh my God, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get there. And then, oh my God, I'm getting there. I'm close. Oh, I'm battling it. I threw the Pokeball. I caught it. You know, there's so many moments of that. And there's examples of things like that where it's like, I think that this could change. But because gamers, like everybody to a degree resist change. But I think gamers are very
we're seeing that right now with Mario Kart.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I've been seeing so many people be like, I that's another place where I feel a disconnect, because I'm seeing like, even I think Fernie's in the chat. He like put on Twitter where he was basically like, I'm not having fun with this game. It kind of makes me want to go back to Mario Kart 8. And I'm like, I couldn't have a more different experience than you, because I'm so tired of Mario Kart 8. I'm so sick of it. I never want to touch Mario Kart 8 again. Like in 2015 when it first came out, you know, I put my like 2015 to like 2016, I put my like 400 hours in the video game, and I'm like, all right, cool, this is a good Mario Kart. And then it came out again. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I get on Switch, and I put my like another 100 hours or so. I'm like, all right, I've had enough. I'm good for a new game now. Give me a new video game. And I'm sitting there for a decade. New video game, please. You know, so I'm living for the like the new take that they have on the.
Me too. Yeah. I feel differently than you about Mario Kart 8, though. I thought that Mario Kart 8 was probably like the most perfect version of Mario Kart that they could have ever made.
But I agree
Mario
with that.
Kart World came out.
I agree with you entirely. I was just tired of it. I just needed a new game.
No. I get it. I don't want to misrepresent what you're saying. I'm just talking about my thoughts. So I felt like, it can't get any better than this. There's no way it can get any better than this. But listen, some people might hate what I'm finna say, you know, $80 games and all that. But
how dare you?
Mario Kart World did it for me. I'm like, oh my God, I did not think that it was possible for any Mario Kart to be better than 8. And here we are, and I am enjoying the mess out of world. But to be fair, I'm very casual with Mario Kart. I am not a person who constantly plays online. I'll play online here and there. I'll play with my friends here and there. But I'm one of those people who I genuinely enjoy playing the Grand Prix with like the computer or with my niece. You know, if I do play with people, it's normally like my family.
Yeah.
So I actually appreciate that they took us out of that old school formula. I really like that they're treating this game more like a cross country race. You know what I mean? Like, I really appreciate that. But I understand, you know, those people who they like the old school. They want SNES Mario Kart rules. I get it. You know what I mean? But like, for me, I think that sometimes you don't realize that you need a break from the ordinary until you get it. And me playing Mario Kart World, man.
I feel like that because I approached the game. Oh, there we go. Her internet probably got nuked. I approached the game similar to how she was saying. Like, this is like Mario Kart specifically is like, that's a friend game. I play it online sometimes, every once in a while, if I just feel like playing it. And I am in the mode of like, I just want to finish the thing. So like, either I'll turn on Mario Kart and I'm playing with my friends. It's me, it's Wes, it's Ben, it's Zay, it's whoever else pulls up with the video game and we're playing it. And that's probably like 60% of how I play the game. The other like 20% is me playing it, like just, you know, trying to 100% the Grand Prix and the knockout tours and get like first place and everything with and all the CCs and the mirror mode and all that other kind of stuff. And then the last 20% is playing it online. And I don't even notice when it's like, oh, this is one of the races where you're doing three laps, and then this is one of the races where it's intermission course, because I don't even look at the map in this game. And I think that's what I love the most about it, is because I just be driving and reacting to the moment. Whereas like every other Mario Kart, it feels like you need to play it like it's a fighting game. It feels like I gotta lab every course. I gotta learn where the turn is. You know, like, and in past Mario Kart games, mirror mode is supposed to be this challenging thing because you're so used to having the turn happen here, you know, and reacting to where you know the turn is. But when I'm playing on mirror mode in Mario Kart World, I'm just playing the game because I already don't look at the map. I don't memorize the courses. I know like vaguely. Sometimes I'm like, I'll see a rail and I'm like, oh, I could probably do a thing here, or the rail's going to come up here or whatever. But for the most part, I'm not like reacting to what is about to happen. And the way I feel like most people are like yearning for when they want the Mario Kart experience is because they want to be able to have a course to learn and grind and to be the better person at the thing that you learned and you grind. Whereas like here, it kind of forces you to like be in the moment in that way, because like sometimes you'll get an intermission course and then sometimes you won't. And I think people flatten it a little bit by being like, oh, well, you could just do the easy thing and just cut through the easy shortcuts and like all you need is mushrooms and blah blah. But that's the game in it. It's like stopping people from doing that, because there's big risk a lot of times if you're playing with other people that are also good at the video game and doing that. Because if you try to take the big boost and somebody hits you, then you got to eat that. Then you got to eat driving in the dirt and be mad slow if you don't have your boost left and all the other kind of stuff. Whereas a regular course, you're good. I was just saying, I agree. I'm very similar in that way, and that this is like the best example of like how I'll play a game that I'm not like super passionate about. It's a friend game. It's a friend game for me. I play it with my friends. They'll hit me up and they'll put in the group chat, yo, Mario Kart, y'all trying to play Mario? And then we'll just do whatever. It's just all vibes. Sometimes I'll go online every once in a while if I'm just I'm having an itch. I want to play it a little bit, but I don't want to get the squad together. I'll play it online. But even like outside of that, more often than not, right now what I'm doing is I'm trying to complete everything. I'm trying to get all first places in every Grand Prix and that sort of thing. So it's like I'm having a lot of fun with it, and that's how I play every Mario Kart. And I think that's why I got burnt out of the first. I mean, well, 8. Because I already did all that. I already beat all the Grand Prix. I already got first place. I got mirror mode. I unlocked all the things. I got the gold wheels and all that other type of crap.
Right.
So at that point, it just became, and this is the part you missed out on. But it became a fighting game. It became like the reason why I feel people are mad that they don't get these courses is because they're not able to grind out their like best lines and be like, oh, well, this is where
And
you're
that's
supposed
a
to do this
lot of
turn.
what it is. Yeah.
And I just don't play the game like that. Like when I'm playing Mario Kart, I'm not even looking at the map. I'm just reacting to the moment. I'm looking at what's
Same.
immediately in front of and behind me. So I don't even recognize in the moment when it's an intermission course or when it's a 3-lap course. I'm just, whatever the game gives me is what I'm doing, and I'm having fun while I'm doing it.
See, that's how I play Mario Kart too, which is like why I empathize with the people who are upset about that. But it's just never been like an issue for me
Yeah.
to play it like that. But I will say this though, there definitely are a lot of people who like to play Mario Kart like like a fighting game.
Yeah.
But I do hope that they update it. And I'm sure that they will. Like a lot of people forget, like even when Mario Kart 8 came out, like it wasn't nearly as like feature rich as it was like towards the end of its
people
life.
are gonna
Like,
get mad about that. That's gonna cost
like
money.
it came out. Yeah, because I mean it came out bare bones. But I guess my point is that they're not done updating the game. Clearly, that's the kind of game that they usually have, kind of like in the tuck for like the entire generation of a console. So
Right.
I would just tell those people like, I know it sucks, but just wait a little while. I'm sure it'll get some updates.
I think
Hopefully
that
they
plays
give y'all a
into
ring
what
mode.
we initially talked about. Like, I think Nintendo fans have this short-term memory where they feel like, oh, well, we got Mario Kart 8 and that was a complete game and it cost insert dollar amount, and now they're charging insert dollar amount and it's not even a complete game. And it's like, no, Mario Kart World has way more content, like by a lot than what Mario Kart 8 launched with.
It sure did.
It has a decent amount of content even for that price, because all told, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is like a $100+ game. It's not even $80.
No, really, truly.
The game's $60, and then the DLC, either you pay $25 for the DLC or you got the online to be able to access the DLC.
Right.
So it's like, consistency. Like, that's all I need.
I think it's like, unfortunately, this is kind of on Nintendo a little bit. They've kind of cultivated this. They've kind of cultivated this parasocial connection with gamers with the Nintendo Direct format. Honestly, that's kind of like where a lot of the stuff kind of starts.
I should have never looked at that banana, man. You should have never did that.
And don't get me wrong, I love me a Nintendo Direct, but I feel like Nintendo fans have been conditioned to like to be expecting something all of the time.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to just chill. Like, I'm not saying,
just take anything.
Accept less, take anything. But I do think that there's something to be said when a console in the game just came out a month ago. Like,
and you're already like, this has no games.
Relax, like,
which is crazy because it literally has thousands. Like, like Nintendo Switch came out and it literally had like, even if we're being generous, like I think it launched with like including indies and all that other kind of stuff. Like in its first month, it was like 20 something, maybe 30.
You talking about the original Switch?
Yeah, and the Nintendo Switch 2, it launched with a similar amount of new content, if we're talking about third parties and all that kind of stuff. But on top of that, you have access to the literal thousands of Nintendo Switch 1 games. Exactly. A lot of which are like directly updated, if not passively updated, So it's just like, I don't know. I just don't have a whole lot of empathy for that.
I don't either. But to be fair, too, we also live in this era of like live service multiplayer. So it's like people just, I guess they assume that every game that's multiplayer needs to have content come out like every week.
Yeah.
Or like, there should be something to look forward to, a roadmap. And I'm not saying that they're wrong for that, but it's kind of like.
But that's the time and place thing. Depends on the game.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Nintendo doesn't operate like that.
Yeah, nah, at all. I wish they did more. I
wish they did too, because when
I don't think every game needs to be that.
Animal Crossing,
Animal Crossing is a perfect game for that. I think Smash is a perfect game for that. I think Mario Kart is a good game for that.
I think that to be fair to Smash was updated a lot. There was always like new characters.
But Smash Brothers be sunsetting, and that's the problem. It's that's like. True. And they sunset. It almost feels like they set off a bomb. Because it happened with both of the games that had any kind of DLC. It's like, all right, we're updating it. Good luck with this character. Goodbye. You know, it's like we have Bayonetta with Smash 4.
Yeah, they know how to end the game, child. They in Animal Crossing, they in the Smash, they in the Splatoon, Splatfest, all of that. They're like, yeah, we're good.
But I think the rest of those games, every other example, it's like, all right, Animal Crossing ends and it is what it is. But like with Smash Brothers, they end it and it's like in a way that makes people like they're actively not having fun with the game anymore because Bayonetta, and you know, she's wreaking havoc and everybody either has to like just accept it and play the character, or they have to deal with the character. And in Ultimate, it's Steve. Whereas like if they operated more like a service game, they will be able to be like, all right, this character's overtuned and we at least need to have a skeleton team to like stop that from happening. So I
definitely think they need to look more into that. Like, I'm not saying that you have to have like consistent content.
Yeah, we don't need new DLC all the time.
Mm. Yeah, but there definitely should be people who are tweaking things behind the scenes instead of, like you said, just like sunsetting the game and just washing their hands with it. I definitely agree that they need to.
They set a time bomb, and then there's nobody on the scene to put the fire out. They're like, all right, later, y'all. See y'all in 6 years.
Yeah, man.
But yeah,
like I agree with that. That's funny.
I forgot where I was going with that. I forgot what was the next thing and last thing that I wanted to talk about. Which is a sign of a good conversation.
I know,
but.
Because it's long overdue. I should have been here a long time ago.
Yeah. I want you to come back. I'm gonna let you know. The thing is, like, when I changed this format, it took me so long to do it because, like, I always had, like, you know, co-hosts and stuff like that, and I'm always like trying to be in service to the other person. So, like, in my head, it got to a point where the show was designed around trying to be in service to my co-host from before. And when I think about doing the show again, I'm like, well, I can't do that because I stream now. And I didn't stream then. But thinking about it, I'm like, wait, I stream now. So like I can just do the podcast on stream, and that means I can sort of just do the podcast whenever. And then just make it so that, you know, just hit up the person and say, yo, when's your schedule free? You know? And I just didn't think that as many people would be down as there. I thought I was gonna have to be fighting for guys. I like went to the like friends that I work with a lot and be like, yo, I don't know, maybe I need y'all to rotate and be like a pseudo like standing co-host. But like realistically, I have people like lined up still that are down to be on the show, which feels good.
Right, that's good. That's a good thing.
But you got anything that we didn't touch on as far as like axe to grind for Switch 2 fans?
I'm a Nintendo fan, but like I'm like a Nintendo fan that's not like that. I don't relate to a lot of the community. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't relate to those people.
That's why I got the Gamer Derogatory shirt.
I love that shirt. I need that shirt.
That's why I got that, man. I had to do it. Oh man, it's like you need a layer of separation. That I need to figure that.
Some of these people are in too deep.
I need to figure out what the version of that is for Smash Brothers, because it's like, yeah, I like the thing, but like that doesn't mean I'm like the people that you know of that like the thing. And that's how I feel about the gamer thing. That's why it's like when people are like, and also not even just like for the gamer thing specifically, I think it's just that term has like in people's heads when they say gamer, it's like that's all you do. You don't go outside, you don't have friends, you don't know, like you play video games and that's it. And there are gamers like that. Hence, Gamer like Derogatory.
Don't get me wrong. Listen, don't get me wrong. It's the summertime. Most of what I have been doing is been in my house playing video games. But
I've been outside.
I've been outside. Like I've been outside. I've been hanging out with my family. Like I've been doing things. But it's like I don't get too many days where I could just like, I'm just gonna focus on playing the altars because that's just what I want to do today.
And that's like that's even more fair for you, I feel like, because you are a teacher. So it's like that's when it's like open season. It's like, oh, bet it's summertime, lit. Like, I don't gotta think about grading nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Like what? Come on now. But I think that for me, I guess even when I was a younger person and I wasn't really making content, like, and I wasn't online. Because back in the day, like, there was like I mean, like it was forums, but like I wasn't really online like that. I didn't
Yeah.
really have access to the internet till I was like 15.
Mhm.
And when I did have the internet, I was like playing Neopets. But like,
Gotcha.
but anyway, I say all of that to say, like, you know, I was like in organizations and stuff in sports and whatever. Then I went to college and I was doing things in college, but I never made gaming like my life. And I think
Mm.
that's where people,
They don't have the lived experience part. So
and that's how you create a parasocial relationship
Yes.
with the corporation.
Exactly.
You allow this to be your life.
Oh.
And so when this company does a thing to disappoint you, that's the only thing that you can focus on.
Right.
And I don't want to get too deep, but there's a lot of things going on in the world right now. If y'all don't know.
Yeah.
There's
That's
a lot of things
so
happening in the world
it's
right
funny
now.
that you
and
brought
the
that
last
up.
thing I'm worried about is video games.
Because that is where I was going, the parasocial thing. Because that's a comment that I get a lot, where it's like, "Oh, stop making excuses for the corporation. There is fine if people are mad at them." And I'm like, I think you have the roles reversed here. Like, I'm not mad at the corporation, but I'm also not like I don't care what they do. It's like, okay, you do something that I don't like, I'm not giving you the money. You do something that I do like, I'll give you the money. And that's where it starts and stops.
You don't have to partake.
Yeah.
This is an option.
You
don't have to have video games.
I don't feel slighted when they charge more for a video game than I'm willing to pay. I just don't buy the game.
I just won't buy it. like that's why I get upset. It's like, you don't have to buy this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's forcing you to do anything.
It's like the gamers that are like anti-political, they co-opt political language to be like the greedy corporation. They're denying us of food and shelter by not letting me play Kirby Air Ride on my PC. It's like
if only you guys would organize under things that matter.
Yeah, the things that would change in your life. If you actually directed that anger and that language to the people that is causing the problems that you're spiraling about, instead of expecting, again, the faceless corporation to have empathy for you and to be like, yeah, you know what? The economy is in the dirt. So I'm going to sacrifice my funds so that you feel better about your purchase decision. They're like, nah, the economy is in the dirt, so I'm going to make my coin where I can make my coin. And that's why they exist as a corporation. And your job as a consumer is to say,
it's to be like,
that's all right, or it's not. Yeah, exactly.
Like, everybody always talks about how, it's just video games. It's just video games. Okay, well, prove it with your dollar. The thing is, like, we're just so ready to spend our coin.
Mm-hmm.
We're just so ready to spend our coin, but we have to remember, like, you don't have to do any of that. You don't need this.
That's the only power you got.
I was blessed to get a little extra change. I told y'all, I got a little extra change this year.
Mm-hmm.
I had a little extra. So I was like, you know what? I am gonna buy that Nintendo Switch too.
I feel that. I think
get the Mario Kart bundle.
So for me, it's like, I mean, it's just good for me to buy the thing because it's good.
Content.
Exactly. Yeah. There's money to be made, but also, even removed from that, if I didn't like it, I would just not buy it. It's just that simple. If I didn't think it was okay, and I think that there's like, I commented on a different creator that I just randomly got served this video in my algorithm, and she's basically talking about how like Nintendo fans are annoying on the internet because, and she also doesn't have a Switch 2. She's not trying to buy a Switch 2 because she personally does feel like it's overpriced, which is fair. I don't agree, but fair. She's basically saying like they're not principled enough for me. Like they say like how dare you charge this much for this thing, but then it launches and you're there day and date, and then your first excuse is like, well, I can write it off my taxes, it's my job. And it's like, well, if you don't think it's good, why would you buy it? Because like that just tells your audience that you thought it was worth buying, regardless of what you say. It's monkey see, monkey do. It's not monkey here, monkey do.
You're not gonna hear me do a lot of grandstanding because listen, I'm gonna disappoint y'all every time. Okay, that's what I was telling the people when Sony started raising prices of video games to $70. You didn't hear me say one peep because I already knew that if at the time it was called Breath of the Wild 2, when Breath of the Wild 2 come out, if it's $70,
absolutely.
I'm a fold every time. I'm so sorry.
Because that's what I mean.
And I did.
But I don't. I think that's consistency for what you're saying. Because to me, it's like the problem isn't the amount of money that it costs. It's not like this costs this amount of money. It's this costs amount of money, and is it worth it or not? Like me, when Sony was announcing that they're going to charge $70 for a game that they already released less than 5 years ago, you know, like that sort of thing. Then I'm like, I'm not cool with that. I think that's whack. But if they charge $70 for the next God of War, I'm like, all right, bet that makes sense. Fair. You know, that's worth that money, clearly. But that's what it is. It's like a whole slippery slope of like, is the game worth it? I don't care about the price tag.
That's always going to be subjective. You're never going to be able to make a conclusive argument for what has value and what doesn't.
100%.
Some people don't find value in anything that Nintendo does, so it will never, which is fine. You know,
so why does it matter? It doesn't matter if the game is free.
Yeah.
That was why Dragon Drive was hilarious to me, because I came into this generation being like with the understanding, and I said this loudly, and I will continue to say it throughout the generation, that this generation is N64 price wise. I don't mean like what I don't like about N64, but I mean like it's open season. It's like you might see a game that's $30 and that's great, but you're also going to see $80 games. You might see a $100 game. You know, like the game is going to cost what the game is going to cost, rather than more recent in gaming history. Pricing became standardized. It like started, I want to say, in like the GameCube generation, where at the time it was like every game's $50, and then the next generation every game's $60, and now $70. I think for Nintendo specifically, it's like we don't have a standard price. Games cost what they cost, and we'll let you know when we get there.
And then the market will decide if it's too much or whatever. So it's like, that's how I feel about that. If it's too much, then maybe they'll bring Nintendo Selects back.
Donkey Kong already got my $70, so. You know, I'm not, and I, you know, I'm doing my part. I didn't give them the 80 for Mario Kart World, I guess.
Me neither. I was not gonna pay. Listen, I like Mario Kart, but I was not about to pay $80 for the game. I was like, nope. Let me go ahead and get this bundle, pay my good $50, and let that be that.
I'm gonna let y'all in on my next video. My next video, the thumbnail is has Wii Sports on it, and it says this is a $250 game. And that's the thumbnail. And that's kind of what it is. It's like, I mean, we didn't spend $80 on Mario Kart World, but we kind of did. You know, it's like it's like optics. Like it feels like we didn't, because they set up that arena. They made us feel that way by being like, all right, the other one's $450, this one's $500. So therefore, you know, but it's like, you know, semantics. They got their $500 either way. It's like, did you spend $50 on Mario Kart, or were the Joy-Con $50? You know, like that kind of thing. Like, which part of it cost that much money?
That's true. That's true.
I think we're good.
They got me again.
Oh my God. They got me again. I think we're good for this episode. Everybody, do all the YouTube things: like, comment, subscribe, follow Nia on The Video Game Her on all of the things. I will tag your stuff is all linked on your YouTube, I assume.
Yes.
On the about page, yeah. So you'll be tagged on YouTube, and people just click on that, and you'll see all the stuff. You'll see all the stuff and all the things. Podcast services, I will link it. You got any final thoughts?
No, this was a good conversation. I don't have anything to promote. I am no longer a content creator.
Follow her on the things for the Blue Moon where she wants to post something.
Yes, exactly. That's it. But thank you for having me. It's a good conversation, you know. So,
coming through.
Yeah, it's a good talk.
All right. Goodbye, y'all.